Hi, I'm Keys.
Hi, I'm Copro.
Alright, give me just a sec.
I'm Charge42. I will sort of be here for a while.
Alright, I'm good to go.
Alright, go ahead and start whenever you're ready. I got the timer.
Alright. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm Keizaron. This is Battle Network 2. I push buttons and I manipulate things and I win.
That pretty much sums up the run.
Hopefully Tara's still in here because he's more savvy with the story than I am. He can point out things better.
So, the story in this game is comes right after Battle Network 1. World 3 has been defeated, and now everything is happy.
Or is it? Dun dun dun. Oh god, I should have warmed up my thumbs. My mashing is so bad right now.
Sorry, give me a sec.
So just like every single other Battle Network game, we get this wonderful tutorial because they assume that you've never played the game before, you know?
Wait, you've played this before?
Well, I mean, with the way I'm gonna play today, you'll think that I haven't. Yeah, that's a good way to explain the story. Spam Gator and...
Yeah, so you're going to be seeing a lot of a program advance called Gator.
Program advances are pretty much the bread and butter of winning fights really quickly in this game. Since we don't have something silly like, I don't know, Varsword.
But one big difference you'll see is that in BN3, they just used Mount just used custom Focust to get his Varswords, and Keizaron will not be using any chips like that to get his PAs.
Okay, so I'm doing a folder edit right here because I'm trying to manipulate Guard Star encounters. I'm hoping I get a specific one. There we go. Okay, so this one it doesn't really help to explain it. So, in Battle Network 2, you're able to manipulate a ton of stuff. You can manipulate your chip draw, you can manipulate encounters and stuff like that. So I manipulated that encounter, and I did specific things in the fight, so I could get a Guard Star from it. Normally it's a 50% chance, but the game hates me, and I don't know how to win coin flips. So we already have 2 Guard Stars out of the 3 that we need. If you're wondering why I did that first pause before I paused again to edit my folder, that was because... Oh geez, what is this fight? What is this fight? Oh dear. That's because I wanted to make sure I didn't get a turn frame. The turn frame could ruin my step counter. Also, I don't know what to do in this fight, so let's just hope that it works. It's very unlikely that oh, that's nice. It's very unlikely that I get an encounter after the second manipulated fight. That one was completely not manipulated. It's kind of handy because now I don't have to manipulate any more fights.
In the coin flip.
Yeah, there will be no manipulation for the rest of this run now.
Whoa.
So
Probably not manipulating the GMD drop.
I'm trying to get a frame perfect timing here, and I don't have a consistent way to do it, but I need 1500 Zenny, so this is actually obnoxious how long this is taking, but we did it.
Yeah. In contrast to how BN3, the GMDs were sort of locked until you picked one up, with Battle Network 1 and 2, it changes every time you pick it up. So when you do the reset in the beginning, that restarts the RNG, which restarts the drop table for the GMD, and then if you pick it up on a particular frame, as Keizaron did, then you can get 1500 Zenny or whatever it is you want. And that early Zenny will let us buy sneak runs as well as an early HP memory and some other stuff.
So I haven't really mapped out too much after the GMD. It just isn't too much of a consistent thing to map out without saving and quitting. But there are some encounters that I'm familiar with, and we got pretty lucky because we got a chain of 2 encounters that both gave us escape chips. we were especially lucky with that first encounter because triple Canadum is the worst encounter you could get in that area. There's no real quick way to win it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, since the RNG is the same, I suppose, depending on what your step counter is. Maybe leading up to the GMD, we should do more precise movement. That's something.
Yeah, it's something that could definitely be optimized better. This isn't something that I really tried to optimize too much. Really, Guard Star Minute came from a week and a half of frustration of, if I remember correctly, I won 20% of my coin flips.
Yeah. Routing Battle Network 1 and 2 with RNG manipulation is quite tedious and rather difficult to get consistent, so there's still room for improvements.
Yeah,
So,
the way that...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
So the way that all the manipulations work in this game is that when you do a soft reset, the RNG starts to run in the background, and by listening to the music carefully on the title screen, Keizaron is actually trying to aim for specific frames, and then do very precise movement or text whatever in the game so that he can advance and start the battle or whatever he's trying to do on the exact frame.
So if you recall, when we first entered this area, I did all that pausing and stuff to avoid turn frames, to edit my folder, so on and so forth. Since we got really lucky and got that third unmanipped Guard Star, I don't have to do any more manipulation. It probably would be faster if I could figure out a way to consistently get like escapes, which I seem to be doing a really good job of, so ignore what I just said, this is all planned. Also, that Zenny drop that we got a couple of fights ago is actually really handy. 1600 Zenny is the ideal amount because it allows us to buy 3 sneak runs and that HP memory. What that HP memory allows me to do is run away from all these fights, so it's a little slower to grab it, but in the long run it's faster. We could get away with buying 2 sneak runs if we didn't get any Zenny drops, but we would have to YOLO one area a little bit later. We could run away from that encounter, but obviously getting the encounter is a little slower, and it's not an actual number, I'm just making it up, but I want to say it's close to like 3 out of 4 attempts you're going to get an encounter there. So getting that extra Zenny is actually pretty handy.
And just like in Battle Network 3, Keizaron is going to grab HP memories throughout the run because the run chance is based on HP memories. Or sorry, the sneak run chance.
Yep.
So he needs a certain level of HP in order to avoid encounters.
2 in particular is nice because power-ups and style change also contribute to your overall level. When those were removed in Battle Network 3, it was strictly HP, but this one, it's more of a composite level.
Oh wow, I did that timing horribly wrong.
And here Keizaron is doing a manipulation to get dash chips, which are a component of the first PA that he's going to put together.
Ignore that first mess up. I thought I busted twice, I didn't. I noticed too late. You also see me save as soon as I enter because there is a small chance you can get an encounter on the way to the corner. That corner is a really nice place because it puts my step counter in a good area and it's really impossible to mess up getting to the corner. I don't know why I reset there, but I'm pretty sure I won't get an encounter because of it. But you can get an encounter on this green square and that green square. And it's really not helpful. There's 2 fishy encounters I tend to go for. It's this one and the one that you saw me fail at. They're the fastest ones to do, except there's this single fishy that you can get, but you only get dash G. I prefer getting the dash stars. 1 G and 1 star is enough, but I don't know, I just like the stars better.
Yeah. It's rough because the RNG starts advancing on the tile screen, which is why we have sort of these windows of encounters, but there's 2 back-to-back frames that you'll get a dash star, and this, like, in a non-manipulated run, getting dash G or dash star at the beginning was sort of like the bulk of the RNG, and one of the reasons that we investigated RNG manipulation for this particular game, and finding that particular setup in the corner to where, listening to the audio, you can get dash star really makes the entire route possible, at least the early game.
And now we're on to the first scenario in the game, where Yai is taking a nice bath, and her air vents have sprayed toxic gas into her bathroom. So we're now going in to fix the air vents.
Also, that massive folder edit I just did, a component of the RNG manipulation is the game is going to pull from specific slots in your folder when you do your resets. So I'm putting specific chips in specific slots. That was kind of slow and sloppy because I was afraid I was going to mess it up. And then another importance about getting that early HP memory was it allowed me to use a sneak run here, so we're getting absolutely no encounters.
Yeah, and when we come up to the airman fight at the end of this level, Keizaron's got a 50-50 chance of getting the manipulation correctly because he needs to manipulate basically the entire folder. And to understand why this works, basically when Keizaron does a chip manipulation, he's actually not just aiming for one frame, but a window of frames, because as the game runs in the background, it's rearranging the folder, and so every frame it does some rearrangements. A smaller manip, he can usually has enough room that he doesn't need to hit one frame, but he's got a window. But for this fight, he has frames that he can mess up with.
Yeah, basically all of the manipulations are 50%, and we tend to offset it by getting multiples of chips and putting them in slots where we can get them on the off frames.
Yeah, it's a side effect of how the game tries to sort of shuffle the chips, and it's sort of interesting to know how it works, because basically it keeps two separate permutations of your folder, and each frame it will swap a chip in both of them and alternate between which one it draws from. So on even frames you draw from the first folder, and on odd frames you draw from the second shuffling.
Oh, I'm just resetting.
Oh man.
That was horrible.
Move forward.
If we had the miss a sword counter, then there's 2.
Oh gosh. Airman's pretty annoying because he doesn't like to come to the front. He moves around randomly, and the strongest chip we have is a sword, so we want him to come to the front so that way you can hit him with that and take him out sort of quickly. There's not too many alternatives for beating him using this.
His movement pattern, if you hit the same frame, is always going to be the same.
And that movement pattern that I got when I messed up was one I haven't seen, so of course.
That's interesting. Yeah. But because you can't guarantee that you're on the exact same frame, and looking at your chip draw it's identical, it's hard to tell exactly what the AI value is. So.
And that cutscene we just skipped is pretty much the closest thing to a character dying on the screen in the Battle Network series.
Oh yeah, the bomb.
Airman's operator just got killed by an explosion.
So, you know, like everything in Battle Network, once you're done with a hard fight, you're just gonna go to sleep. I mean, next day, whatever, right?
I'm sure he's fine.
I think I saw chat mention something about WR. Get that out of your head. We're already a minute behind.
Yeah, Blaze, all the fights in this game are RNG manipulated. So if you're expecting him to have to struggle with chips, that's not going to happen.
Hey, Copro, can you turn your mic down a little bit?
Oh, sorry, yeah. That better?
That sounds better to me.
Yeah, should be. Thanks.
So we're gonna fight Gutsman here. I'm gonna try and get the same manipulation that we got. And that's not quite good, but we got some S, so I'm gonna roll with it. It's not really worth it to reset over and over for it. I mean, we can kill him from here.
Cutman is a bit more predictable and nice in coming to the front because he tries to punch you. But our folder is still pretty hodgepodge, so nothing really reliable yet.
I mean, eventually I want to look into a route that uses spreader. Monobank has looked into some of it, but I like the idea of skipping the Gutsman fight.
Yeah.
Spreader has some downsides though, in that you need extra Zenny to buy the chips you need.
That's why you manip Zenny.
You got to trade for it, right? Like you need a -J or something?
Oh yeah, you need to get a -J in addition to the -star.
Oh, what the?
Or yeah, you still need to get the -star for the just because it's a really good chip.
So we're gonna jack into the girl real quick. Calculated.
Yeah,
this is the first... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, some rooms have really weird sort of access points. The entire room is a jack-in point, so you can connect to the console from anywhere in the room, so that's all.
This is the first of 3 license tests that we'll see in this run. And as you go through the game, you have to run these. These have some of the trickiest fights because you have to fight gauntlets of 5 fights in a row. And these are actually challenges for the manipulation because you have to manipulate all 5 fights at once.
So the
I think I
main
messed
thing
up.
is when Keizaron starts the first fight, he has to look and recognize which chip draw he has to determine what RNG value he is, and then use that to basically set up the future fights. So behave in a particular way, use certain chips, fire Buster to augment the RNG, and shoutouts to Montebank for sort of routing all of that out and creating these guidelines where if, you know, slot 5 is such and such chip, do this action.
Oh,
So it's
dear.
really interesting.
This is not a draw I recognize. We're gonna have to make stuff up. Let's go with you, I guess.
There's a dash star in it.
We're just making
I
it
don't know
up.
what
It's all
this
good.
is.
Yeah, I don't recognize it either.
You don't actually have a charge shot yet.
So yeah, it worked out. Who cares?
This
Yeah.
first set of fights is pretty lenient.
The second one's more annoying.
As long as you draw chips, you will be fine on the first set.
I'm actually kind of nervous about the second one because I tried to change some of the manip and it wasn't successful, if I recall.
And basically the plot value of these is that Mega Man, if memory serves, they're just doing the first license test because it's cool. But this is the Z license, but when they go for the B license and A license, those are required for plot development.
I think B was still like, let's go camping. Oh, everyone's busy. I'm bored. Let's go get a license.
Oh yes, you're right. But A is required in order to get to Yumland.
Yep, because pen pal and all that stuff.
And then you
Roll
won't see
pen
them
pal.
in... you won't see them in this run, but there are 3 additional licenses, S, double S, and triple S, that are available only in the post-game, and those have some truly nasty gauntlet fights.
Hey, I still remembered how to do it.
Nice. And shout outs to Monty for saying use movement buffering to time the dash attack. And it's cool how it's like to line the RNG up, we save in a particular location. Sometimes it's far away from our target, and then run to it, and it's consistent enough that we get the draw we want. And then shout outs to Keizaron for coming up with this idea of buying the HP memory now, as opposed to later. It saves a jack in, and it's actually quite a bit faster.
Speaking of HP memory, we gotta get out of the way to grab this one.
Yeah.
And we jack out and jack back in just because it's faster. You saw that a lot in BN3 and just a lot of BN games in general. Like once you do a lot of movement, if there's no real fast way to get back, then it's usually just faster to leave and come back. Plus, if I recall, you can still get an encounter in Yai's area.
Yeah, it's rare, but it does happen, and the run range starts that good, and you can get some pretty nasty viruses.
So this is the area I was talking about earlier where if you didn't get a Zenny drop at the beginning, then you would have to YOLO. It's not a huge deal because you can just run.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same, because you go into the menu to use the sneak run, and this is slightly faster, combined with the time buying it, than it is to get into the encounter out of the way.
I hate this one, I hate this one, I hate this one. Just be nice.
This is
Hey! Yay! Yay! This is the worst manipulation. I hate it so much. Several times on actual attempts have I lost a run because coin flips aren't nice.
This one's pretty precise because you need very specific chips for the second fight.
Yeah, the triple Matars, because they are invulnerable when they're not attacking, are a major time loss if you can't insta-kill them with Gutsman like at the start.
But this gauntlet's going really well.
Well,
Yeah.
the gauntlet just kind of fell apart now because the B tank is a B tank. So the B tank's movement advances the RNG, and I did not dash fast enough. So our draw is a little ruined right now.
B-tanks are murder on RNG. Them and wind boxes. There's a lot of viruses that slow things down. At least you got a mini bomb, right?
Keizaron mini bomb master.
So yeah, this is definitely going a lot slower than it usually would, but there really wasn't much I could do.
Oh, that's a terrible draw for the
Yeah,
hard
this is
heads.
horrible.
They
Jeez.
can't be hurt unless they're attacking.
Yeah, the last fight can be pretty difficult because depending on where you stand, you can quickly get area locked and then just tank a lot of damage.
Ideally, he'd have Gutsman plus 10 here to take out both hard heads.
This is horrible.
Wow.
This'll work. This'll work. I'll make it work.
So Keizaron's just demonstrating why we do RNG manipulation.
Yeah, yeah. This is just so you guys could see why it's so good. But yeah, like we were saying, B tanks are just absolute murder. Normally, the best way to handle that fight is after your second chip, you take a step forward, and I failed to do that, so there's a little bit of a buffer period.
Dorisum asked in chat whether these encounters count towards style points.
The gauntlets do not, no.
Yeah, it's cool. Like battle number 3, it's super controlled. There's only, I think, like 4 fights. 2, there's a few more since we farmed for a couple chips, but basically any fight that doesn't have a reward screen will not count towards a point, so that includes gauntlet fights.
So now that we got our license and now that everybody's willing to go camping, we're going camping now. Yay! But there's bees! The bees! So, you know, as the leader of our ragtag group of children, I have to find items to ward off the bees. By myself, of course, you know, like every other game.
I still feel like
Sorry, go on.
I still feel like my notes were perfectly acceptable for this, and you guys shouldn't have complained.
Alright, so we defeated the bees. So now we're trying to get closer to the campsite. I'm gonna jack in the statue real quick, because, you know, you could jack into anything.
It's actually, wait, I think it's an air filtration system or something? I forget.
Yeah, it
Water
is.
purifier.
I'm gonna grab this off-center BMD that should be murdered.
It bothers me so much.
It's
Like, why?
so horrible. Bear! Bear!
Bear!
So, I don't even...
Rip bear.
You know, the sad thing is this is one of the scenarios that makes more sense in BN2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Goodness.
Animatronic bear that's standing perfectly still, just roaring. This is the beginning of the reign of the Wondrous Slot 2, right?
Yes. Oh, look. I somehow drew dash. I wonder how I did that. Easy fight.
Spike keys. Viruses in BN3 were a lot less predictable. In 2, they had much more fixed patterns. Like, they move at the same speed, they move the same number of times, and they choose to attack. And every time they move, it's random, except for the final move, in which they move to the closest panel towards you. So sometimes they can block each other, but it's pretty easy to line them up for a triple kill. And now Land just has to go around and talk to all of his friends and like, oh, you need a fish, you need a knife, you need some wood, yeah, I'll go get that. And by get that, I mean I'll go talk to someone who gets it for me and then claim all the credit.
Ah, Yai, please! She, like, grabbed onto me. No, Dex, come back! Look at what you've done, Yai! Ugh, what a nightmare.
NPCs will do that sometimes.
Unique sprite NPC standing in the middle of the river, totally not suspicious.
No, not at all.
Yeah, you got 50 extra Zenny. It's interesting, like, sometimes you can get here and the Zenny route works out perfectly to where you'll buy the sneak runs and you'll be completely out of Zenny.
So now we gotta find all these different things by jacking into various different things throughout the campsite.
Minesweeper.
So what's actually happened is there was a giant explosion, and that didn't take out the dam, but apparently there's another bomb that will take out the dam, and you need to go hunt down the detonators.
And they're all located in these convenient to find things. Good bad guys.
They're disguised. Like, who would have thought this thermos was a bomb?
Or this PET that's just lying around in the middle of the river, flashing.
That's the best part, is it's just flashing. It's like, oh, this isn't suspicious at all.
Yeah. So, a couple nice things about this. Oh, well, one, the gimmick for this dungeon is there are explosions built on all the different paths, so if you take essentially the wrong path, you'll trigger a really long cutscene where the road will blow up and you'll have to walk around. Those are fixed, so Keizaron has them memorized, so we shouldn't see any.
I'll do one just to show them what it looks like, and I know exactly which one I'm going to do.
The one where you just run straight down and it's like, oh yeah, you're close enough.
Yeah, really dumb.
Because it's only 50%. Like, the movement's really quirky in this.
One of the things that can really slow a casual player down is that the triggers are often on only one side, so if you don't blow it up on your way past, and then you come back and you cross, you'll block off the way you came and have to go all the way back around.
Yeah, that's true. We actually take advantage of that in a couple places to pick up some blue mystery data. We grab it from the back side even though you can get it from the front side. So like, we step on the explosive, but because we're not in the trigger zone, we can get away with it.
So before anybody thinks I jacked into the waterfall, we just jacked into the binoculars behind the waterfall. They just happen to have a really huge range.
Yeah, well, specifically it's a PET that was hidden there.
Oh, right.
This scenario is also interesting because all these jack-in points move after the scenario is done. I think there's not that many scenarios that do that.
Yeah, basically, scientists or officials or whatever gather all of the detonators and set them on top. And so you can revisit these areas later, because obviously if you didn't pick anything up, you'd miss it if they didn't put them somewhere. Let's see, those B&Bs that he picked up, we went from behind to not trigger the explosion. Oh, and then the fourth one, Shad says, the last guy, or the last detonator is probably being held by the culprit himself. So Lan's going to have an awkward confrontation.
Alright, so
Why the guy...
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
go on. Well, I was just going to comment that I have no idea why he lets Lan jack in rather than just pressing the button.
Yeah, it's like, here's my PET.
So
Send Mega Man
here's
in.
the one that even if you're nowhere near it, it'll go off. So that's what happens if you don't take the right path. And that's a good, 5 seconds that you lose if that happens. So you have to hug the wall as far as you can. It's really dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And after this section is the fight with Quickman, which is, I believe, the first time we're going to see a PA.
Yes. Oops.
So Keizaron is going to use the art of RNG manipulation to ensure that he can hit Quickman very quickly.
Gotta go quick. So, Quickman's shtick is he's invulnerable until he starts moving. But then once he starts moving, you can hurt him. So you can either wait until he hits you and use that window to hit him, or be swag like me and do it while he's moving.
Wow. Nice.
He does 6 movements before he's about to attack, and his final movement will always be in your row, so it's a pretty easy thing to figure out.
I see. Yeah, because if Keizaron was any bit late after Quickman throws out his projectile, the projectile will block anything coming down towards it, so it would absorb all of gut shoot, and then you
I'd
have
look
to
like
reset.
a fool.
Yeah, BN2 has a lot of things that can block attacks. It can be really frustrating.
They're trying to be Gen 2 of Pokemon. Defensive meta.
Quickman used to protect.
I just want to point out that Speedy Dave was going to blow up the dam and flood the entire area, including where he was standing. So I just want to point out the brilliance of the gospel operators here.
So the plot here is that the overarching story is the discovery of this gospel criminal or terrorist organization. The plot right now is that Lan found a balloon and decided to get a pen pal in Yumland. So now he wants Mega Man to go to Yumland's network because he's too poor to go there himself or something. And to do that, he needs another license.
Yeah. In order to access internets on foreign countries, you have to be qualified.
Wow, that was RNG minute movement. It's all good. I thought I was somewhere else.
See, and exactly, we can claim this because it's true. Yeah, mission. So, but before we can take the license test, we have to prove that we're qualified to take the license test. So we have to go do 3 jobs, which are really silly in retrospect. But the first one's kind of nice because it's just sort of a go here, talk to this guy, go here, talk to this guy. So you get to walk back and forth through Okuden Valley, and I really like the music here. It's very tranquil.
Most of the music in BN is like really nice. It makes runs a lot easier to deal with.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So there you go. Any aspiring devs in chat, if you want somebody to play your game, make the music nice.
Yeah, that's kind of a universal rule.
I will play games with really good music even if they're not that great. Music is huge.
Also, if everybody's noticed already, walls are really strong. They're the real bosses. So this guy's prog is lost and we're just helping find it. Nice casual stroll through everything. It's a good thing that all these passes for travel are free, because otherwise we'd be really broke.
Elementary students get to ride the metro for free. Lucky.
You'll notice he always grabs the pass on the way out. That's simply because it's slightly faster, since the out lane is closer than the in lane to the ticket machines.
Gotta save them frames.
I'm not doing any of the swag movement though, so I'm not saving as many frames as I should. When you initiate conversation with any sort of object at all, NPC, GMD, whatever, you can use a turn frame right when you initiate it. That way you're already facing. And I think the turn frame is killed when you do it. I'm not entirely sure.
I did not know that.
Yeah, the task does it all the time, and I think it's mostly just for positioning. Obviously, yeah, if you're standing still, you can start moving in any direction sort of for free, but anytime you change direction or speed, you stand still for 1 frame, so definitely if you could turn around ahead of time.
So I'm doing these missions in a particular order. I do the 3rd mission, then the 1st one, then the 2nd. And that's primarily just because of travel time and whatnot. There's no real difference how you do it. It's just I want to get all the missions that require travel done immediately.
Mm-hmm. It works out nicely. When you do mission 1, you get to go to ACDC and pick up some stuff. And then sort of set up for mission 2. Oh, you do these in a slightly different order than I do.
Yeah, the different order is because of how my folder is set up.
Yeah. Like, routing RNG minute for Battle Network, everything sort of has to go together, and so changing any one part or order that you do things can have drastic ripple effects throughout the rest of the run.
So there were 2 possible draws we could have gotten there, one with the V-gun and one without. The V-gun makes it faster, otherwise we would just have to use guard. I hate this minib.
Yeah, actually there's... oh, this one, right? I was thinking of the other fight.
That's one of my favorite fights in the run.
So we're gonna hit him while he's hopping in the air, because we're good.
Cutman, stop hitting yourself.
Oh darn, this wasn't the sword draw. Oh well. Still fast fight.
Can't double gut shoot him until you get another guts fan chip.
Yeah, shame.
And even then, like 100, there's not much damage. It would hardly be worth the second gut shoot because of the PA formation time and cast time. It actually is somewhat slow.
Yeah, the big downside to PAs is the amount of time they take, but in this game, as you'll see, they're so overpowered that it's worth it.
Now something you might be noticing I'm doing is we were talking about getting style points earlier. Even though I only needed 2 chips to win that fight, I grabbed extras. That way I could continue to build custom points. With my route, if we don't have custom style, it's pretty much game over.
It makes a huge difference. And I want to say that there's 2 fights in the game casually that sort of I feel are above sort of the expected difficulty for that particular segment, and this is one of those 2 fights because you get 2 flamies and one of them moves, so you pretty quickly get area locked and you don't have a lot of health at this point, so it's really easy to die and you'll get a
Fight
game
is
over.
It is really tough with the spider out too.
Yeah.
What?
The enemies don't start.
Oh, come on.
What happened?
Alright, we'll sit. It's all good.
Yeah, and the timing is really
Oh,
tight.
first got missed.
It's all good. We were just
Ideally, he
emphasizing
would-
how hard the fight was.
The design of these enemies is actually kind of neat. I didn't realize, I thought it was just like a floating head or something, but they're sort of curled up, and whenever they actually land down, they sort of got their arms out and they're basically elbow dropping you. If you ever go fight one of those again, sort of pauses their landing, which you can actually hit them while they're attacking. It's very tight. Getting them with the sword is feels pretty cool.
Oops. I meant to go down here. Oh well. This is not 212ing, trust me. This might
Yeah,
like
there's no way.
There might be like it might be 216. A lot of this is just muscle memory for me right now.
This is one of the longer splits in the game just because of this missions. There's a lot of travel.
Yeah. The longest split in the game is definitely Freezeman though.
Yeah. It's just over half an hour in your world record, I think.
Yeah.
Which is ironically following the shortest split in the run.
Yeah. So the reason why we're able to use these sneak runs and avoid encounters is because of Mega Man's level. Our level is determined by 2 things. A third thing technically, but it's determined by our hit points and specifically the HP memories, and it's also determined by our power points for like attack, charge, so on and so forth. And BN2 is really odd in the sense of sneak runs work better than running away. And by that I mean a lower level threshold is needed for a sneak run to be successful. But even if you can successfully sneak run the area, if you don't have a sneak run, you might not necessarily be able to run away from the fight. Battle Network 3 kind of swapped that around, which is why Battle Network 3, one, it has, you know, the Navi cust for it, but 2, it's just more effective to just run away.
Yeah. Compared to Battle Network 1, which did not have the ability to run from random encounters that was introduced in 2, and so this was their first stab at it, and I feel like they didn't really do it right, as Keizaron said, and then they fixed that in BN3, but we can take advantage of it by being able to avoid random encounters at a lower level.
Didn't they screw that up in BN3 too?
Well, so they messed the code up, such as the odds of you being able to run is not calculated correctly. So I'm trying to think. In Battle Network 2, you can escape from any encounter, I think in like 3 attempts, 2 or 3 attempts, depending on your level. And the same is true for Battle Network 3, but starting with 4, it's actual percent based, like 90%, 7% or whatever. So it's kind of like I can run from this fight in 1 attempt, or 2 attempts, or 3 attempts. So there's not really any randomness with it.
Also, that spooky fight is crap without Manip.
Yeah, it's terrible. Based slot 2 Gutsman with plus 10.
Oh, did I reg it? I didn't. I had to double check.
Yeah, Eurig dash.
So having dash as a star chip is really, really valuable for the next gauntlets. It makes it so not too much needs to be manipped because we have a strong 90 damage chip guaranteed to be drawn.
Yeah, regging dash is really strong. We used to not reg it until after the A license. Because completing it gets you enough reg that you can then reg it afterwards. But you go out of your way to get one additional reg up and you can use it during the fights and it makes a huge difference.
So we're getting the strongest chip in the game. Recuv 30 star. It's so strong we don't put it in the folder because we'd have to make a brand new category. So we got some more gauntlets to go through. The same situation as before. I want to see a specific draw. This one, if we don't get a specific draw, we could fix it pretty easily. The next one, not as much. So I was looking at slot 3 there. If it were L code, then I would have to buster once to advance the RNG, but since it wasn't L code, we don't have to do anything.
For the most part, dash just wins the fights. There's just like one or two that you need something else.
Yeah, and the reason that this all works is because although the RNG runs continuously on the title screen and during when you're on an overworld or in the internet, it doesn't run while you're in a battle except when something in the battle needs to call it. So when certain attacks are used or certain viruses move, those will all invoke the RNG, but just sitting around and doing nothing won't, and that's very important.
The most common thing that advances the RNG, either it's an enemy AI or it's an animation. The particle effects from shooting the buster, for example, or getting hit.
Gym Freak, no, this RNG is not like Gen 4. The RNG always starts from the same seed, but since it runs on the title screen, Keizaron needs to be very careful about when he starts, gets into the game and how long he takes. There's no system clock, so it's not based on time.
So up next is actually probably the scariest fight in a non-manipulated setting. Like scary enough to where I would consider saving.
Yeah. Earlier I said there was 2 fights. This is the second one. If you're not prepared for it, you very easily die because they will quickly area lock you. And well, you'll actually no, I guess you won't see because they're going to get destroyed. But you get the idea.
And it gives you the save for free.
Yeah. Let's see. How do I do this? I'm trying to remember how I did it before. If I timed it just right, I can get this guard out without getting hurt. Oh. Oh well. But yeah, he does massive damage, and your health isn't exactly high yet, so taking any sort of hit there is scary to begin with.
The sortie can't hit you in the back row, but after 3 attacks, the sortie will use area grab. And they can use area grab multiple times. So if they get a second one off, you're pretty screwed.
And there's 3 of them, so they have plenty to go through.
The other encounters that can be really nasty if you're not prepared are under Kodo randoms. If you don't have the HP to run away, those Dominards are very nasty.
Dominards in general are just nasty. We have one Dominard fight later on, but I have a solution.
It's a really nice fight.
So one thing you may have noticed when Keizaron came through here for the first time is that he stopped under the bridge to grab a blue mystery data. And there are a bunch of those hidden blue mystery datas containing bug frags. Unlike in the later games, they're all just fixed. and he's going to need those to get a very, very good chip later.
Quite literally the most important chip in the game, IMO.
Yeah. They changed how bug frags work in like each of the games. Introduced them in 2. There are 32 of them in total. They're all fixed, and you can trade them for specific chips. And then in Battle Network 3, you got them for counter hits, and you use them for various things. And they changed it.
I forgot that he doesn't give a cutscene, so this minute might be messed up already because I think his text is different after you talk to
On
him
the
once.
second try? Oh, that is true.
Oh no, it doesn't.
I know it varies for some. It might not.
It didn't. Thank God. Let's see.
I think it's usually the first time you talk to him. So, like Gauntlet 1 and 3, but not 2 and 4.
Gauntlet 4 is a little bit tricky. But it's not nearly as bad as 2. Main issue is this wind box.
Sometimes you get a V-gun there, which makes the fight a little nicer.
The wind box advances RNG every time it fires one of the little wind particles. So you have to fix the RNG on the Shrimpy fight.
Yeah, it's really terrible.
Alright, so for thinking I messed up, it actually went exactly how I wanted it to go. Go me.
One cool thing about the wind and fan viruses is that those little wind particles, those are actually what move you back. And so if you move quickly enough, you can actually dodge them and steam to the front or the back.
So this gauntlet, it's really important to have everything go the way you need it to. The last gauntlet I had mentioned, if I saw L code in slot 3, then I would just have to Buster once to fix it. If we saw L code, then we're in a bad spot. That last fight in the gauntlet is why it's so important. Really obnoxious fight if you don't draw the 2 guts, man.
Well, it just occurred to me that if you fix the RNG for folder stacking, it's possible that the satellite would also move in the same pattern. So we might be able to find a setup that guarantees it goes to the top, and then a dash attack would hit both of them, killing the sortie, and then leaving the satellite with 10 health unless we have
That is a
attack plus 10.
very rare encounter to get.
Yeah, it's possible to get one before you get to the cube, and it's super annoying.
Okay, so speaking of bug frags earlier, there's one hiding here.
Yeah, there's only 2 left to pick up, and then he'll have the 8 that we need. And it's convenient that there's just enough sort of like really close to the path that we want to go to
What did I just do?
that we can get what we need.
That wasn't right. What the... So, don't mind me, just double checking something. So, that.
So now that we're in Yumland, we get the Cutman scenario,
There. Okay. I think
which
I missed
is
it.
the most exciting scenario in the run.
Copro, don't talk if he's doing a folder edit. Folder edits are what glue the RNG together, and if you get one wrong, we don't really have backups for it, and then you pretty much, I don't know, it's really hard to continue the run at that point.
Sorry, my bad.
It's okay. I think
I was
Keizaron's got it.
one
so-
slot off. That's what happened. Really, really, really silly mistake. But oh well.
Yeah.
How could just one Navi destroy us? So speaking of being quiet, there's absolutely no music in this part, and I hate it. It's supposed to build tension, I guess, but it always makes me think that something happened to my game.
This entire scenario, or lack of a scenario, is trying to build tension and not doing it very well.
Alright, we're gonna find out if I did it right. I'm pretty sure even if I didn't do it right, we could still handle it from here. It's not too hard of a fight. I mean, we got turn 1 gut shoot, so that's pretty much all we need.
It's just Cutman.
Yeah, it's just cut, man. Who cares? Ah! He hit me! He hit me!
He's not supposed to do that.
I think you figured out his pattern. Once you get Cutman below half health, he attacks sort of twice as fast. You can destroy the rock to make the fight a little easier, but he does a lot of damage, especially with his scissor attack.
And that's why you don't talk crap about somebody. They'll hit you immediately.
He knew.
So we're going in here because I need an unlocker. This unlocker is going to give us a power-up later, and like I had mentioned before, the power-ups give us levels. I like not getting encounters. Marco died to Cutman, of course. So we're also going to take another mission here, and this mission's kind of important. It gives us a lot of Zenny. I mean, a lot. And it's a little bit out of the way, but it's not a huge deal out of the way. Because the only other way we could get that amount of Zenny is a GMD later, and I think it's like if you reset more than twice, then it's not worth it. And getting specific drops from GMD is a frame perfect thing, so it's usually just faster on average to take this mini quest.
And you can actually get GMGs that drop 10k in this game. I wish BN3 had that.
There's one in Undernet 5 that drops 50k.
It's not a GMT though, right?
Yeah, it is.
It is? Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Yeah, you need an untrap for it though. But that's not a huge deal for that kind of money.
Yeah, it's all, it's like 2/3 of the drops in Undernet 5 are 1 Zenny, and the other third is 50,000.
So as usual, we're doing a bunch of running around and stuff.
Right now, Mega Man and Lan are trying to find out about a program called Change.bat, which their dad says will be important for them to defend Electopia from Shadow Man. And this is, in the plot, this is the program that enables style changes.
And this is why I was mentioning earlier that taking that side quest isn't a huge deal. We have to go to Okuden Valley anyway, and this is the guy that gave us the side quest. So since we're here anyway, we might as well just do it. It's only slightly out of the way. The biggest issue with it though is he speaks a novel to you. It's a good 15-20 second conversation, I think.
Blazeman Airshot is not in this game. It doesn't work on rocks anyway, only on rock cubes.
God, this music's so relaxing. I thought I was in the last area already. Whoops. And now for the last part of that quest that we picked up, we just deliver the love letter.
Well, you'll need to go back later to actually get the Zenny, won't you?
Yes, but we have to go that way to talk to the chick that is helping us with Change.bat anyway. So it all works out. Like, it's very much not that out of the way, and that's why we use it.
Yeah, it really isn't. And those officials are all standing staring at the computer defending their country.
Yes. So the unlocker we grabbed earlier was for this power-up in this purple mystery data. Can't say there's no variety in color in this game. And now we have to go to Kodo Square because that's going to help us advance the plot to get Change.bat. But there's also something else really important there. There's a store that we can trade those bug frags in for, and that's where we get our super important chip that helps us win the game. Also, a friendly reminder that Lan can roller skate over everything, including grass and gravel
And stairs.
and stairs. Attack plus 30. Really, really valuable chip.
Because Gator was not broken enough.
Nope. So there's a
heck, it's
PA that
not
we'll
even
get
a-
later, and it's called Gator, and it's 900 damage, but that's because it's 100 damage per projectile, and if you use an attack plus anything with it, it's per projectile. So attack plus 30 means that each 100 damage projectile is now 130 damage.
It's useful
Really,
with the
really
Gateman chip itself too.
Yes.
This Gateman is 3 hits of 40, I think.
Yeah.
This isn't where it's supposed to be.
And upgraded Gateman launch more hits rather than more damage, so they get an increased boost.
Using Gateman is slightly faster than using the PA.
Okay, so I think the
It's
only
less
thing that might be off with that folder edit mistake I made earlier is Shadow Man might be a little slower to beat, but we don't really need it after this, so we should be fine.
So now he's got to go all the way back to Yum Square to get the actual change.bat program, and then he can go on to the scenario proper, where
Yes.
Shadow Man comes and attacks.
And to anybody that had seen the task of this very early this morning, late last night, whatever time that was, in this scenario, this is where you get your style change, and you can actually skip it, but we don't skip it in this route because we need those extra chips for the manipulation.
Oh, I didn't know you could skip it. That's really cool. So, as he comes up to grab change.bat, on the way out, he's going to get a series of encounters. And these are all fixed manip encounters. This is one of the parts where you really start to see the manipulations shine.
Now, I used to have a manipulation for the second fight, because the second fight gives us a chip we need. It's called Zapring 2B. We need it for the plot later. And I used to have a way to manipulate it. Like, I had a series of what to do based on their movement, but I lost that when I changed parts in my computer, so we might have to redo this fight a couple of times. Hopefully we get lucky.
It's a 50% chance.
Something like that. But we all know how 50% chances go for me. So hopefully we just get it. Okay, we didn't get it. So... But yeah, I had a way where I would see how the bunnies would move. And depending on how the bunnies moved, it would either be take a buster shot to advance the RNG or just kill. Man,
Didn't
this
you...
is killing me.
Sorry, didn't you also have a backup manip on the fourth fight?
I was thinking about it, but then it just seemed not very feasible. Okay, just give it to me this time, please. Thanks.
In order to get this chip, you have to S-rank the fight, and you need to get the bunnies drop instead of the meteor drop.
This is crazy how unlucky I'm getting right now.
And
Meteor 9.
Oh, damn it, I meant to shoot again. Okay, maybe we
You
got
won't-
an off frame.
he won't actually need this chip till much later in the game, but getting it now means that he can get it from a fixed encounter instead of having to manipulate a random encounter for it.
There's a
Killing me right now, game. You're killing me.
there's a triple bunny encounter later that's like somewhat out of the way in the Freezeman scenario in one of the ice. So
That's true.
you can get the encounter guaranteed, but it's an extra encounter, and we'd
Yeah,
rather
and
get
if
it.
you actually have the manipulation for this, then this is definitely way faster. Oh, come on.
There we go.
So we're gonna have to wait because I accidentally hit OK. So
You'll
I don't-
notice that a lot of the draws in these fights are the same. We're using the same timing for each of these fights to draw the same chips. So that saves us the trouble of having to restack the folder every time.
Those are not ghosts. They're just part of the security system. It's an automatic system, I guess. It was triggered when Mega Man picked up Change.Bat, since it is apparently a national treasure of Yumland.
I feel like we lost a good minute.
Yeah, that was
Where were
brutal.
these nabbies when
And then,
Shadow
of
Man
course,
was-
I get it on the next fight. I mean, that always happens. That was brutal.
That one's only a 1/3 to get it.
Of course, I got it.
Well, you got all the 1/3 meteors.
Yeah, yeah.
Great luck.
Great luck. So that sortie fight earlier that I said was really hard, every now and again you can get a fire sword from it. Otherwise I have to talk to this guy, and the fire blade that we get here is actually really helpful. Switch that with that.
For some reason, there is a lot of grass in Shadow Man's scenario. Although there are viruses of every element to make the style change seem more interesting, no matter which element you get.
So that goofball's considered a boss. Just a fun fact.
And what does that affect?
Just the music.
Oh, okay.
There, just for Terra.
Oh, it also affects the Buster level, doesn't it? Or Buster rank.
Yeah, I think that affects how that's calculated.
Yeah, because you can never S rank a single virus, but you can do it with a boss. Swag movement.
Oh, actually, don't mind me. I ignored the big, bold letters in my notes saying, don't forget the sneak runs. I gotta get sneak runs. just wanted to go through the maid, no big deal. Don't worry about it. This is all part of the manip. No big deal.
Gotta manip that Elex style.
Exactly.
So, it's actually a good time to talk about styles and elements. Just like in Battle Network 3, the element of style that you get is chosen when you start the file at random. And of the 4 elements, Aqua is the best, Heat and Wood are also quite good, and Elec is just miserable.
To be fair, the style generally doesn't matter. Aqua lets you gain a little time, I think. Are there actually any differences with the other 3 with the manip route?
No. Elec is still a little iffy if you want to try and bust through Gateman. Other than that, like Aqua only saves you on like 2 fights, if that. So it's very minor. Nope. I threw myself off.
As long as you don't get Elec Shield.
The custom.
Like pretty much, I just need custom and that's it. Style at this point in time is irrelevant. It would be cool to get Aqua just because I like Aqua.
Aqua's really nice.
What an awful fight. Alright, take your bets.
The encounter you get here is random. You'll always have the same chip draw, but you never know what encounter you're gonna get.
Not wood, not wood. Not wood, not wood, not wood, not wood, not wood. Oh, no! No! I would rather have wood. Ugh. Gross.
It
Gross.
is a good day for heat stuff.
Man, heat sucks.
Sucks.
Heat has a very powerful buster, but it's very, very slow to charge.
And in
makes-
this game, it gives invuln frames. I don't know if it does that in 3, I can't remember.
It
I
does,
don't think so. Does
Gross.
it? Oh.
but it takes even longer to charge than 3. It's a shame, because with Grass Stage it's really powerful, but you never get it off. weaker in this game though. I think it only does 50 damage.
Yes.
But you can level it up to 100 damage, I think.
Maxing out charge is top priority.
Yeah, the leveling up is from repeated battles, not power-ups.
Oh.
Because in Battle Network 2 and 3, your styles can level up rather than go for a new style. In Battle Network 2, you do both. You go for a new style. Your battles count towards new style and level up at the same time. But in Battle Network 2, leveling up only increases your buster strength, your charge buster strength. Where in Battle Network 3, you get the Navicust programs.
I don't think it doesn't increase your buster power in 3, right?
No,
think
you
it
need to use weapon level Navicust for that. So, we should probably talk a little bit about these comps.
Wall, hard. Why?
What you have to do in this scenario is basically answer riddles by spelling out the words on the floor. But since we know what all the riddles are, we know the words and we can spell them out. And sadly, these riddles are not as ridiculous as some of the ones in the later games, although this one's quite cute. It's a buzzing B, so it's just the letter B.
Gotta remember to do my folder edit. I usually do it a lot earlier.
So yeah, there's pretty much 4 boring comps.
Oops. Pretty sure it's 4 down.
So short.
Good. I was afraid that my chip positioning was going to be a little off because of the mistake I made earlier, but we got this first try.
Shadow Man Manip is a little more difficult.
Yeah, lots of cutscenes you have to go through.
Delays the timing by a lot, and you need 2 gut shoots.
And just the plus 10 for the heck of it. So this was a very awful split. A lot went wrong. Like the split was so bad that I actually think I'm gonna be a couple minutes over estimate. Pretty unfortunate. It also depends on how Mr. Famous goes. Because we're gonna do that now.
So yeah, so the next scenario, we need to head to Netopia to pick up, to go to a meeting of officials, because Lan is an 11-year-old kid who's invited to an international meeting of officials.
Yes.
And to do that, we are going to stop and do a few housekeeping things first, like grab the most important Navi chip in the game.
I think this fight uses the same timing as Shadow Man. It's a pretty long delay.
So let's see.
Oh, it is a different one.
So what I can do with this is I don't need to do the two PAs. I could just do one. So this pretty much could be this and the next fight are the last times you're going to see these PAs. Well, this sequence and the next set of fights. Oh, jeez.
And then we're off to Netopia and off to the races.
So other than having to reset a second time, we got this first actual attempt, so it's not too bad. Something he can do is he can shoot that gun, and he can also send out his minions, and sending out the minions is really, really obnoxious and annoying.
Yeah, they'll block Guts Shoot, which is a bit of a pain.
They're also nearly impossible to dodge unless you shoot them down.
Which I don't want to get Gateman below half, because once he gets below half, he uses Remo Shield, and it's really annoying to get around.
A lot of the enemy navies in this game get a lot more annoying once they're below half.
Yes. So now we're gonna get our money, and like I had mentioned a couple times already, we have to go this way anyway for plot. Like, we have to talk to that lady again that helped us with Change Bat. So we just got an easy 10,000 Zenny for delivering a piece of paper to an old lady.
You don't actually need to talk to the woman again, do you? It's just to grab the gate key?
Yes, and getting the gate key is faster than not getting
definitely.
it. So. Like, we've tried every single combination of Freezeman split, and it turns out that doing this is faster.
Oh yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Just don't forget the gate key.
Yeah.
God, that's painful.
Yeah, later on, if you forget to put the gate key in before you end the day's events, you pretty much just cost yourself a ton of time.
Yeah. So what the gate key does is it opens a gate from Den Area 1, which is where Land's PC is, to the square. Oh, in this case, this one will open up to ACDC Square. And having the gate keys makes travel a lot faster on the internet, since you can use it to go between different areas. And but the catch that he's going to have to remember is that you can only open them from the one side.
So, something that we skipped in the cutscene was this guy jacked our money. So, we're gonna beat him up to get our money back.
We need that money. We very much need that money.
What? Sure, why not? Just because I want to show it off.
If you do the GMD route instead of the job, then you don't need to fight this guy. Pick up the money later.
So this is what we were talking about earlier. Monty mentioned if you use Gateman. Oh, I missed. Never mind. I was trying to show that if you do the plus with Gateman, that it adds to all the projectiles. But you know, I missed, so whatever. No big deal.
Your charge shot's good against fishies.
Really, game? Ugh. Don't mind me. Incredible.
Crack out the whole row. Excellent design.
Yep. This fight's normally a lot faster. I was hoping to hit the fishy, but you know, that didn't work. We still got S rank, that's funny.
Wait, what?
I mean, you know, whatever.
The rank for this one handled like a boss battle? That's weird. There's no way that should be an S rank.
No, that was an embarrassment, and I should be ashamed.
That must be using the Navi formula. That's interesting. For those of you who don't know, there are actually two different formulas for how time affects your busting rank. Most virus battles are much more aggressive, and you can't S rank them without finishing the fight in less than 5, or without a double delete. And right now, Lan had his passport and chips stolen.
Because, you know,
And
why
then-
not?
And because he's an idiot. And after a brief hissy fit with Mega Man, he ran into Higsby, who makes his only appearance. and made up with Mega Man, and now he needs to go get back his passport and his chips.
So now I gotta fight Thunderman because we need his help to get through to the next comps. Because he's got the password for the block.
When I played this game for the first time, this fight stalled me for forever.
It's a really terrible fight for Aqua. Really terrible fight.
It is terrifying.
How do I want to do this?
Two is that you don't get invulnerability frames from the clouds.
I'll just add, I guess. I did the manip wrong, but at this point in time it would just be faster to do the fight. Oh.
The downside of the manip route is that the folder flow is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you either get your manip or you have complete crap because you still have cannon in your folder at the end game.
Handle out B.
So yeah, this is definitely going over estimate. I don't think any amount of practice could have fixed this anyway. But yeah, Raul code helps us advance to the next part, which is why we need to fight him.
It's necessary, isn't it?
Yes.
The other big pain that can get a casual player is if your chips, if you did not have a good folder, then you can be in big trouble here. Because you're basically stuck with whatever you have, plus whatever you can pick up in a few of the subcomps nearby. So now we're heading into the internet to get the passport back. And it's not hard, he just needs to run through 2 internet areas.
And we have to shop.
It's true. We get to the most important shop in the game here.
We bought 2 win stars and 3 fan stars, and it's gonna help us with a PA. That involves Gateman, that's absolutely broken, and I don't know why it exists.
It also makes no sense.
It really doesn't.
But this PA will carry the rest of the game. There's a few fights with viruses where Keizaron will manip different chips, but get used to seeing Gator.
Yeah, definitely get used to him. This is also the second biggest folder edit in a game that's about to happen.
So Gator, pretty much, when I recently did a 100% run, and just to understand how good Gator is, Gator got me through basically almost all of the fights in the game, including through all of the post-game, up until, I think, S ranking 1 or 2 of the final navies, and dealing with base DX. Like, Gator is just stupid good.
Gator is really only not effective on a few fights throughout the whole game. And those are few and far between.
And it's really common chips, so unlike other PAs like Bodyguard, which is even stronger, you can just stack your folder with 5 Gatemans, 5 wins, 5 stars, or 5 fans. Which means that even without manip, you can pretty much get Gator every single time.
You can even reg the wind or the fan.
Yeah.
Which is what we do here.
Yeah.
So now you get to see how good Gator is. Easy game.
The only thing that's difficult about Gator is remembering that wind goes before fan.
Yeah, that's really it. Or, you know, just make sure you don't make Gutter instead. Good old mixing up Gateman and Gutman.
Is Gator stronger than later games Super Vulcan plus attack boost? How many hits is Super Vulcan? In any case, I'd say yes, because the wonderful thing about Gator is it auto-targets. So you don't need to line up. The only thing you need to do is make sure that there's no virus right in front of you, and Gator will just auto-target your enemies. There's a couple of really nasty virus fights where you have to be careful because of the way the directions one virus can block another, but other than that, it's pretty damn amazing.
The Gateman manip is a pretty big reason why Cuss Style is so good, because it gives us access to slot 6 in the opening draw. And so what we're doing is we're manipulating the reg chip in addition to slots 2 and 6, and you have a lot of frames to hit that window. Very consistent.
I purposely slowed down the text there because what she just said should not be said to a 10-year-old boy. I just want to throw that out there. You got me all roused up.
Yeah, Gator's maximum damage with an attack plus 30 and an attack plus 20 is 1350. And I think you can knock that up to 1440 if you trade an attack plus 30 from another file.
Why was there a pause before use? What do you mean by a pause?
I mean the hardhead fight. You can't. The hardheads are invulnerable to all non-break damage until they attack.
So these dungeon comps are very interesting, or at least they are casually. There are enemies here that are that appear on the overworld and will sort of go around, follow you around, and do various bad things to you if they catch you.
These comps also suck because we don't have enough sneak runs to use sneak runs for all the comps, so we have to just eat the encounters on this first comp. You can get a minimum of 2 encounters and a maximum of 4. 3 is average. It looks like we're about to get average.
And the plot line here is that this big meeting of representatives from all the different countries, which includes 2 kids from Electopia, was sabotaged, and someone has trapped all these people in the castle's dungeons. So now Lan is trying to escape.
See, the best part about not having enough sneak runs is we're about to get an item soon that would allow us to have enough sneak runs. So, you know, cruel irony.
Yeah. And Keizaron will actually go out of his way to get another sub-memory later so that he can have enough sneak runs for the final comps.
Dare I go for the frame perfect trick? Oh, well, doesn't matter anyway, I messed up. So there's a trick that the task does where you grab this BMD and you get in front of the burglar. But I went the wrong way, so, you know.
The burglar, if he hits you, he'll steal your zennies, but they'll end up at in a BMD near the end of the area, so you can just get them back. It does waste a little time, though.
There we go, that was for Terra.
The other 2 enemies are zombies, which are slow-moving, and vampires, which are fast-moving. And vampires will suck your HP, and zombies will send you back to the start.
So this bandit actually gets pretty close, but he doesn't get us. There's actually one time that we might get hit by a vampire. It doesn't really affect anything, especially since we're manipulating the fights. I'll try to corner clip it, because it is faster to not get hit by it, but it's such a minor time loss that it doesn't matter if you get it or not. So, upcoming is what we like to call the Raoul Crouch manip. Because we meet our good buddy Proto Man! And Raoul's crotch is just a good place to manipulate.
Yeah, we're fighting Proto Man because Shad decides that by process of elimination, Lan must have been the one who set the trap. And then once you win, he'll be like, "Oh, I guess it wasn't you," because being better at him than at net battles means that you aren't guilty or something.
Stupid idiot.
They really tried to add some suspense to the plot in this game and failed miserably. And now we find that Princess Pride, who trapped herself so as to make it look like it wasn't her, was actually behind it all along. And that she is working for Gospel.
What a
Dun
jerk.
dun dun.
What a jerk. Oh. Tried to do swag BMD, failed. I failed again. Okay, we're not doing swag BMD anymore. I quit.
So as we get to the end of this comp, we're gonna fight Nightman, and Keizaron will have to wait slightly to wait for Nightman to be vulnerable, since he normally has Stone Body and takes only 1 damage from each attack. But other than that, it's going to be more of the same.
Hope you like Gator. So this is gonna be where I'm gonna try and corner clip. Hey. Oh shit. No! I got grabbed. I don't even know where he takes you. Where the hell am I?
Wait, what?
Oh, he's still coming. Oh dear. Oh, come on, man. Well, this is happening. I might get an encounter at this rate. I've never seen that happen before. I'm really confused, actually.
Well, any percent no PA? Any percent no PA is not a real category. Like, why would you do that to yourself? Gator is way better than Pile Driver. Pile Driver's good, but Gator just wins every fight when you use it.
Okay, so we buy this brooch because later on we can get money from our good rich friend Yai. It's a $1,000 investment now, but we're gonna get 10,000.
And this scenario is another one of the wonderful intelligent scenarios. Gospel has hired very, very smart people to terrorize environments where they're gonna die. It is also the shortest split in the game, which is nice because it's going to be followed up by the longest split in the game.
Trying to remember what to do. I have to go to the pilot first. Now we talk to a bunch of people, because plot. Also, this Dr. Iron Fist guy gives us a really important chip for the Freezeman scenario. He gives us Silver Fist, and that's how we're going to absolutely maul the Dominards.
You may have seen Gut Straight in the Battle Network 3 run, where he entered a code to make it shoot 3 fists. Silver Fist works similarly, and the really important thing about that chip is that it's breaking, so he can use it to pierce the Dominard's armor. And the next bit of this scenario is all about catching a loose spider on the plane.
Yep.
The null and voids, they'll just die to Gator.
So we do a lot of back and forth on this plane. Also, this plane is really loaded. Like, look at the size of this thing. Look at the seats. I wish our
So
planes
much
were like
legroom.
this. What kind of plane is this?
Airlines?
Insane. So we're gonna steal this pilot cap. Let's see if I remember the rap battle. Yeah, we got Whiskey. Gonna get Crunk.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, in the Japanese version, Netopia is called Amarup, and it's basically a pastiche of stereotypes of North America and Europe.
I did not know that. That's hilarious.
It makes Netopia make a lot more sense.
So this next part is like possibly headache inducing because the screen shakes a lot and it's really annoying. He did indeed say hells yeah. So now we jack into the airplane because obviously the airplane's about to go down and I like living.
Yeah, Hells Yeah was in the original game. There are some interesting pieces of dialogue in this game, although if you want good dialogue, you should play VN4.
So as mentioned already, this is going to be the shortest split. It's about 10 minutes, 9 or 10 minutes. Pretty sure it's closer to 9, but with the way I've been playing so far, it's probably going to be 10. Oh dear, yeah. With movement like that too. I honestly should have made the estimate 230 like I did last year.
Where are we at the timer? I don't have it up right now.
Like 132 and a half.
Oh, okay.
I'm about 5 minutes behind my Magnet Man split, and we're not even that far into it. I have my splits up for reference.
Okay, cool. So basically what he needs to do in this area is go through this maze of magnetized fields, find the demagnetizers to disable them, so that he can pass through and fix the various parts of the airplane. This scenario can actually take a while on casual because it's a bit of a maze and the paths are all one way, but like a lot of these comps, they get very, very easy once you know how to get where you're going. And since HP memories are wonderful and we don't get any encounters, there's pretty much nothing between now and Magnet Man.
Which is really nice.
Magnet Man.
Which is really nice. Like, unless I make a very terrible mistake, we shouldn't see any encounters other than event encounters.
Yeah, for the rest of the run.
Level of manipulation.
Yeah.
They need to manipulate a lot more because they need to get 60 chips, I believe it is, and then they don't get sneak runs. They only get escape chips.
Yeah, I think 60 sounds right, but I'm not that familiar with BN1. I've only played through it once.
Bunch of people are saying Panic Basket.
I think the player on the restream machine hiccuped, but it looks like it's refreshed and it should be good now.
Neat. We should have,
Okay, cool.
we should have put the timer back another like 3 minutes so I looked like I was doing a good run.
For everyone who just had the stream interrupt, trust me, you missed nothing.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of running.
Is there anything else that we should talk about?
In this scenario, there isn't really much other than the MVP is going to be a Prague. What's really going to suck is when we get to the Freezeman scenario. I don't know what the hell to talk about there. It's boring.
Yeah.
BCC plays BCC and just put it over top of your game.
Yeah, yeah, you honestly should.
So the Freezeman scenario, which we're coming up to, is basically the internet gets frozen, and there's ice everywhere, and you have to go around and collect the various tools to break the ice. And every time you break ice, you have an encounter of 3 of the same virus. And there's a lot of running back and forth and backtracking and getting this and getting that, and it eventually ends in Freezeman.
So there's 2 different manipulations you could get here. They both involve Gateman, obviously. One is we get the attack plus 30, and this is where it comes in handy. So, like I said, it's going to be 30 extra damage per projectile, so this 1,000 hit point boss is dead in 1 hit. The other draw would be 2 plus 10s, so there's no possible way that we don't get it.
So if you guys in chat have questions, now would be great times to ask them, because we've got a lot of dead space on this.
Yeah, really, at this point in time, the only thing to really point out is I'm going to... for plot purposes, I'm talking to all my friends here. After I'm done talking to them, I'm gonna retire to my room, and you're gonna see me go back on the internet before I end the day's events. And it's really important that I do that, because since the next event hasn't occurred yet, Freezeman hasn't frozen the internet, so I'm able to access some areas, and that's really important because I got that gate key earlier. And if I don't turn in the gate key before I end the day's events, there's ice that's blocking it.
Keys, are you watching chat, or do you want me to read some questions to you?
Well, I kinda see it and kinda don't, so, you know. Go ahead and ask me.
Alright. Sure. So, how did you get into Battle Network?
That's a funny story. So, when Sunrise 1 and Montebank both were wanting to do a blind race of BN4, and they convinced me to do it, and it was absolutely awful. Not because it was 4, but because I'd never played Battle Network before. And this was a little under a year ago. This was in September. And as long as it took, and as lost as I got, it was actually really fun. I liked the unique concept of the battle. I liked the music. I liked the overworld. So then,
mechanically, they're very neat games.
yeah, it's mechanically a sound game, and they ended up wanting to do another blind race, and it was a BN2. Let me just get this manip real quick for our last gate man. But yeah, so we did BN2, and I had an amazing time of 13 hours and something, because I spent like 8 hours on the Freezeman split. That was pretty great. I also didn't realize you could edit your folder.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so I got all the way to Quickman, and I didn't have an edited folder. That was pretty wonderful.
Wait, this was after the 4 race?
I
And you
forgot that you could edit.
didn't- I see.
So yeah, that was great. Love it.
By the way, guys, as you watch Gator, it's fun to see what comes out of Gateman when he's doing Gator, because there's all sorts of wacky things. There's meteors, there's Mega Man dolls. There's some fun stuff, and someone asked why. Someone talked about the Gator projectiles missing. Once an enemy is lost all its HP, then the projectile will fly through it. But this doesn't apply to anything that isn't a virus or a Navi. And so if you get like one of those little Gateman walkie dudes, he'll just block the entire Gator, which is a pain.
So I'm just going to assume that we just got a free pass to ride planes no matter what, because we kind of saved the day.
Yep.
Yeah, that is exactly what happened. Alright, let's see. Some more questions. When is 4 stars?
I'm almost positive Tara said that.
Sarah said that.
I mean, I have so many projects in front of me that I want to take care of, and all of them are going to be after SGDQ, because I'm doing Pokemon Red at SGDQ, and that should be fun. But, like, Pokemon Sapphire and Emerald, something I'm really looking at. I'm looking into fixing BN2. Okay, let's
Fixing
see if I got
BN2?
this. Yeah, it could still be
Broken?
brought down a little bit.
Oh, it's the Dominant fight. Good luck.
Yes! Nailed it.
So swag.
Yeah, so this fight can be very nasty because of the, Dominards just don't like you.
But because Silver Fist is piercing, we're able to just kill them. It's pretty nice.
Let's see. Favorite animal and favorite net navi.
Favorite animal? I like foxes. Foxes are my favorite animal. Favorite Navi? I kind of just want to go with the stereotypical answer of base. But I don't want to after Battle Chip Challenge.
Lol.
10 turn base.
Say Gate Man, because he gives his Gator.
Yeah, that's a good one. What's the worst scenario in the whole series for you?
You're watching it.
You're watching it, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a, I don't know, Video Man I hated.
But that doesn't even do anything, to quote Method.
Oh, come on, what are you doing, game? Whatever.
Oh, we're doing Silver Fist on this fight now?
Yeah, my last route that I did, I had Silver Fist in a lot of different fights. But the handy
Wait,
wasn't
what?
very cooperative this time.
I've never
Well-
seen a handy do that.
So, if there's not an open spot for them to place a bomb, they won't come to the front, so after the 2'd placed, you'd be safe to go.
Okay.
They've got quirks to their behavior, but they are more or less predictable.
Fluted, you asked about the Game Boy player. Keizaron is using a Game Boy player for this run.
I figured I'd stick with the Silver Fist just because I'm behind anyway. I might as well add swag to it.
For sure.
Oh, well, you know, swag isn't failing the Silver Fist code.
Someone, did you use PAs in your BN2 blind run?
Yes, I used Gator once I was told about it. Other than that, I did not use any PAs. Oops.
Yeah, and Hub Style will not appear in this run. For those of you who don't know, Hub Style is a style that you unlock by S ranking every V3 Navi in the game. And it's a mix of all the other styles, but that requires getting into the post game, which we are not doing. How long did it take you to get this efficient in doing speedruns and manipulations?
I'd hardly say I'm efficient. I'm still learning. Like, no speedrunner's ever done. As for the manipulations, it took a while, and it takes me a lot longer because I am not very savvy when it comes to emulator and Lua scripts and stuff, so all my testing is brick and mortar.
Yeah, if you can run Lua scripts, which is not too bad to set it up to do so. There's really nice HUDs that give you a lot of extra information to let you know if you're too early or too late, which can help when you're learning the manips.
But interesting story about the manips. So Doisim actually came up with a bunch of boss battle manips, and he showed me his notes when I first started running, and
His PowerPoint?
yeah, he has this nice little PowerPoint, and my notes are kind of a homage to that. I have a PowerPoint as well, but so he's the reason why a lot of the manip in Battle Network 2 exists, because I saw that and I took that idea, noticed that we got a couple of slots pretty consistently, so we came up with, as Wins would call it, consistent Gutsman manip. And Monty saw how I was doing that in the Yumland square area, and he ended up applying it to the entirety of the game, and that's how this route came about.
Monty's a monster of manipulation.
That's a great question. Where can I find these Lua scripts, and what emulator do you use?
VBA-RR. I think it's like version 23.6, but they've also got V24. I don't know if it matters which one you use. And I'll get a link for the notes and put it in chat.
Keys, do you play other Mega Man series games?
I've played 3. I wasn't terribly fond of it, not because it wasn't good, but because I like the manipulations. So I might get back into it now that manipulations are being looked into. I did that blind run of 4, and other than that, I don't really do much in terms of Mega Man.
So, for those of you wondering why we're going back to Netopia, it's to grab an unlocker, which he's going to need later, and to grab the gate key for Net Square, because this scenario is that long that actually doing this long side quest is faster.
We also get an HP memory from it, which is kind of handy, so, you know, it ends up being faster to do all of this, and we get a lot of neat goodies in the process.
How would you direct a newbie into getting into speedruns and manips?
For speedrunning in general, studying. I mean, it kind of sucks that you have to do stuff that you had to do in school, I know, but like studying runs, getting into the community, asking for help. Everybody that's a speedrunner for the most part is very, very nice, and they really like to help new runners. Like, everybody likes to see the community grow. So definitely try to get involved with the community. As for the manipulations, I don't think there's actually any guides out for it yet. Like, we need to get to that.
I actually just joined the community recently, and the guys, everyone in the Discord has been very handy. I'm going to drop a link in chat.
Sounds good. I remember when I really enjoyed that blind race of BN2 and 4 as well.
Oh.
I'm going to give special shout outs.
Oh, right, I can't do a link. Can someone...
Yeah, I'll get it in a second.
Thanks.
Wins in that BN4 race, how he left and then came back and still finished before Decon, raged on the duo boss.
Yeah.
But it was cool when Keizaron stuck with BN2 after the blind race, and I remember encouraging you back in the day, because Doisim had done like the manip stuff, and I was still not convinced that was going to be faster, and then you stuck with it and eventually beat my non-manip time, and then pushed it down way farther than I thought was ever going to be, so that's cool.
Yeah, I would have never thought when I first started doing this that, 1, I would actually be going for as good of a time as I did, and 2, that it would get as low as it has. It's pretty crazy how much it's gone down. Because it used to be 240 without the manip, and now it's 212.
Yeah, it's a huge improvement. Batosi asked how you're streaming that. Batosi, he uses a Game Boy player, which lets you play a Game Boy Advance game on your GameCube. Peter Steves asks, what is your favorite chip in the game?
Guardian.
Yeah, Guardian's a fantastic chip.
Guardian's awesome. So this fight that I'm doing right now, like one of the only tidbits I could point out about this split, this is one of the fights where getting Aqua is faster. And actually, in fact, non-manip getting dash makes a huge difference too. So if you get dash and your aqua style, then you save a lot of time. But it's so unlikely that that happens, and then it wouldn't be worth it to manipulate that. So
Is it hard to go back to a game you haven't played in almost a year?
yes, I am admittedly very underprepared for this. I'm doing better than I thought I would, even though I'm doing pretty poorly. But I had a lot of real life stuff that happened about a week and a half before the event started. So I streamed a little bit, but I didn't really get into practice like I should have. But like, if it's something that you've grinded out for a long time, there's a lot of it that still sticks to you. Like, this is pretty much muscle memory, a lot of this movement.
How much less or more do you like manip over non-manip?
Lucky asked that.
I definitely like manip a lot better just because I like the control. And I'm primarily a Pokemon runner, so any chance I could get rid of RNG is wonderful.
Do you play randomizers?
I do speedruns of the main series games. I do a bunch of randomizers. I'll do bingos. I'll do pretty much anything Pokemon, besides like the casual stuff like Nuzlocke.
Yeah, I might get back into old Pokemon games for randomizers and stuff. Seems like a lot of fun.
They are pretty fun. So this is why that gate key earlier is really handy. If we didn't get that gate key, then we would still be overseas and we'd be using Miss Snake Man's bag.
Yeah, if anyone was watching the TAS, it had a very different strategy for the Freezeman scenario, but that's because it can take advantage of a couple things that we can't. So this is much easier and faster and consistent, so no reason not to use this.
And this is where getting that Zap Ring comes in handy. This guy is going to give us some very valuable information for the... where is it? The hell? We got it, right? Why is he not giving it to me? I'm so confused right now.
No, you definitely got it.
Did I miss it? I probably missed it.
Did you?
Oh, did you?
Not get
You have to
Zap
talk
Ring
to the
too?
guy in Net Square.
I did talk to the guy in Net Square. Oh, no, I didn't.
No, you didn't. You went straight there.
Whoopsie.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah, as you can see, I'm a little underprepared still. I might just tank an encounter then. No big deal.
I think that's the best way to do it. There's a lot of backtracking, especially in this scenario, and when you revisit the same place multiple times, it's easy to miss a particular step.
This is nasty. This scenario is just backtrack.
Yeah, this scenario is nasty.
Peter Steves asked, is running with input lag worth it on an emulator? I don't know if that's a question... I think that's more of a personal thing.
I mean, like, I don't use emulator too much, so I can't really answer that. I know that I have sound delay right now because I learned how to do the manipulations through the Amarek program sound, which is silly. So I don't necessarily have an input delay on my end, but I do have an audio delay of some sort. Also, we didn't get an encounter. I didn't realize my sneak run would last that long.
Oh, nice.
Nice. The keyword is www. What a surprise.
Deja vu.
Oh, I guess we could talk about the plot a little. So, we didn't talk about it in the Magnet Man scenario. Basically, Gauss, Dr. Gauss, who was on the plane, was trying to steal something or bring the plane down or something.
The high power program?
Yeah, the high power program. And now the due to Freezeman freezing the internet, he's frozen all the environmental control systems over the world. And so now there's, I think it's earthquakes threatening Electopia, floods in Yumland, in Netopia, and then Netopia's too sunny, I think it is. Some form of bad weather is happening everywhere.
Oh, yeah. In this world, they control all natural disasters through technology. When the internet's frozen, that ceases to work, so countries have earthquakes. Some places are exposed to additional UV rays, so everyone's getting like burnt up, stuff like that.
It's a recurring theme in the Battle Network series, really. I think some guys were observing that in, was it 4? No, it wouldn't have been 4. I can't remember which run. But it keeps coming up.
Prism, you're a weirdo. GameCube controller and flat screen monitor.
And he doesn't even use the D-pad, it's the joystick. It's the weirdest thing.
I
Can't
cannot...
argue with his
Sorry,
results, though.
Yeah, I cannot handle joystick with this game. Or with any of these games.
I've tried to switch to GameCube controller because I use Cube controller for Pokemon, but I don't know, I just didn't really get into it.
No, Chaos, it's not that the natural disasters are man-made, it's that all of the systems that were controlling and preventing the natural disasters aren't working anymore. And so they, like, I don't know, maybe they, like, bunched up, so the systems were just putting off all the natural disasters, and now that they're down, they're all coming out in force. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Don't read too much into it.
Since when does
Really?
Battle Network make sense?
Yeah, exactly. Really, you don't want to read too much into the plot of any of these games. Especially not the last scenario of this game.
Well, friendly reminder that using a wind box and a fan box makes Gator explode things out of his chest. I am using a Game Boy Advance SP, which I really wish that I were using a Cube controller, because the SP is really small in my hands, so my hands cramp up.
GBSP, best system ever.
Such a good catalog of games.
Yeah. And they give more players so you can stream them without it being complete shit.
Indeed. So this next fight that we're gonna get in is the last fight that having Aqua Style would really make anything faster, and even then it's barely so. Almost to the point where it's not terribly worth it.
So at this point, Mega Man has collected the necessary tools to get rid of the white, red, and yellow ice blocks. But now he needs to try and find the blue cure to get rid of the blue ice. But he's going to soon find out that there is no blue cure. Because that makes sense. Freezeman would only choose to make some of his ice curable or something.
Also, fun fact about that fight, if you notice the last few fights that I've used Gator, my chip draws were exactly the same. That one was different, yet we were still able to get the PA. That was kind of what we were talking about at the beginning of the game, where all the manips are really just 50%, but we offset those manips by having multiples of chips. So because we had those multiples of chips in really convenient slots in my folder, I was able to still get what I wanted. So yeah, this split's the longest in the game by far, just because of all the backtracking you have to do. It's insane how much you have to do.
Yeah, and we're still not done. How far into the split are we?
We are about 22 minutes in, and it's normally a 30-minute split. It's probably going to be 31 or 32 with the mistake I made earlier.
Yeah.
Honestly, I should have just made the estimate 230 like last time, like I said, because then I wouldn't look like an ass.
What the estimate is 230.
Oh, good point.
Ravener, no. He leaves the game because he's doing RNG manipulations. So every time he does a soft reset, the RNG starts from exactly the same point. And if he gets into battle on a specific frame, then he'll draw a specific chip draw that he can use to one-hit the battle. And so all the encounters that he fights in this game, that pretty much except for a few random encounters at the beginning, he manipulates so that he will get the fastest possible. Kane, the purple datas, they're like the blue datas, except you need to use a sub-chip that costs 4,000 zennies to unlock them. And some of them have rare chips, like Keys' favorite, Guardian, but some of them just have zennies, or some of them are pretty lame.
Good old Guardian.
What does Guardian not pierce? Is it just mole and like drop down?
I think.
It pierces invis, right?
I want to say it does, but don't quote me. Oh, jeez. Hold on. You know what would be helpful? Is sneak runs. I should go buy those. So, one of my biggest weaknesses, personally, when it comes to running this game, is I'm so ready to advance through it that a lot of times, unless I remind myself over and over, whether it's like out loud or mentally, I'll forget to get sneak runs.
Yeah, that's definitely one drawback to the chips, is that you have to always refill them, because you can only carry 4 at a time. Or 5 now.
Yeah, at default you start with 4, and then I picked up that sub-mem during the Nightman scenario, and that gave us a 5th, and then I'm going to get another one on this scenario. That way we can avoid encounters in the final comp, like you said earlier.
Is Guardian Elec? I think so, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, Terra jumped in there, yeah. Basically what Guardian does is it puts down an obstacle that as soon as it's hit by an attack, it deals 200 damage to the entire team responsible for the attack. And it's pretty unstoppable, so it's a great way. It can get through most of the virus battles in the final comps if you can't handle them yourself. It's also fun to use it against the numbers in the secret area.
I want to say Terra used it against me at AGDQ.
Guardian?
I can't remember if that's true or not, but I feel like it was.
Oh, you guys actually did net battles, or did you?
We did BN 6 random folders, and you can't get Guardian in there, so probably.
That sounds like fun.
I got destroyed, but it was a lot of fun, yeah.
It's interesting because like Keizaron and Bonte and a few other people only came into the series recently, so it's like they didn't grow up with it.
Right.
And they've gotten really good at the speedruns, but then like something will happen and Keizaron will end up in a different situation. Like one time he got basically a frame perfect encounter in the airplane comp because as soon as sneak run out, he got an encounter check because it's weird like that. And so he got into an encounter there where you're normally not supposed to, and he fought, I think, a mag bug for the first time. He's like, what is this enemy?
Yeah. I am probably, out of the entire team, the least experienced casually. And, you know, fun fact about that is I actually got 2 encounters. Monty didn't believe me, but I have the VOD as proof. I couldn't believe that it happened, though.
Like, the odds of that happening, it just doesn't make any sense. It would only happen to Keizaron.
It's true. I have legendary luck. Of the bad variety.
Linim, there's not a video because that would have been off stream.
Yeah, it was in the casual room.
there's a lot of people going to HGQ for a lot of different reasons, and so there's a lot of gaming that takes place outside the mainstream room. Most people don't just want to go there to play an hour of a game and then hang out and watch other people stream all week.
So we just got another gate key, and that gate key will help us get to under Kodo, the seedy area of Kodo. Which, I don't get why it's so seedy, because it looks really bright at first. But it's just a backdoor to the internet, pretty much. I also gotta remember which way to go here.
The random encounters in this area are very nasty for casual players.
Yeah, there's Dominerds here. That's all you need to know. It's that bad.
Well, they're even worse. There's multiple Dominerds in the same encounter.
Gross.
And in this game, they pierce invis, so if you let them pull off 2 hidden ones, then you're dead.
So this is why I got that unlocker earlier. We got another sub-mem, so the next time that you see me shopping for sneak runs, I'll have 6, which is just enough for the final areas. There's also an interesting fight coming up here that it's really nice that we have Gator available.
Oh yeah, the Null and Voids.
Mm-hmm.
These guys heal super fast.
And I did not need those plus 10s, but...
Give me a sec, I'm just gonna catch up with the stream. Real Sneakers, yeah, the games are out of order. It's based on when people were available to do the runs, not based on the series order.
We also tried really hard to make the schedule so it wasn't a bad time, like super early in the morning, because a lot of us have different time zones.
What's the bug with Gator on emulator?
If you are running without the BIOS, Arctan returns an incorrect value, so Gator can't target things that are, I think, below it or above it, one or the other. So
Oh, that's
it's
amazing.
Like half accurate. Yeah, it's funny. The projectiles just go off in random directions, so it's kind of annoying.
I've seen them go backwards before. It's pretty funny.
They can go backwards if you fire with an enemy behind you. Like we said earlier, Gator will just kill everything, no exceptions, except for the ones that are exceptions.
No exceptions except for that specific one.
Like, it can't pierce 150, 200 auras. It can't pierce regular protected enemies. Obstacles can give it trouble sometimes.
Oh, okay. Prof says it's VBA specific. I didn't realize that.
Reminder not to use VBA.
VBA is so bad. So all of these fights are absolutely awful without Manip, because everybody just kind of does their own thing. Especially those flappies. Those flappies suck.
They are terrible, because if you don't open draw Gator, which Manip, so odds are set up for that. If they jump, then it's really hard to get all 3 of them on the ground at any one time in the future.
These are better than BN1 flappies, which have like 3 frames that you can hit them.
Yeah. The Freezeman fight's cool because since the armor's not immediate, we can open draw Gator and then kill Freezeman before his armor even goes up. So that was nice.
The best part is most of the time when you do it, he has his arms up because he's about to do it, and it looks like he's trying to like block the projectiles.
It's like, no, please.
Yeah, there's very few Navis and enemies in general that will react right on the first frame after the start of the fight. King, yes, he's resetting the game because the way that the random number generator works is it resets whenever you do a soft reset. So he can always get the same or very similar chip draws when he resets.
So now we're in the very last scenario.
Man, my stream's falling behind.
So we're just gonna do some last minute shopping here to get our level up, buy some sneak runs.
And then we're off to Koto, which makes sense.
Yes. So we have to go back here, plot, yada yada yada. Also, the walls are really strong here. I almost always get stuck on one of them.
Basically, everyone thought that Freezeman was in charge of Gospel, and that by deleting him, they've destroyed Gospel. But when they come back, they discover that that's not the case at all. And then someone goes, "Wait a minute! If Gospel was hiding in Kotobiki Square, maybe they're actually located in Kotobiki."
Who would have thought?
Takes senior level research scientists to figure this out.
Yes. But they need a 10-year-old boy to do the grunt work.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they could just make another one of me.
Wait, is he 10 or 11 in this game?
I think he's 10.
I thought he was 11. You're probably right.
So we get a special pass. So we can go to Radiation Land. There's a random guy here. I guess he refuses to leave his home. I don't know.
Or he can't because of the radiation or something. Yeah,
You talk to one of them. He's like walking sideways. He says, "I can't go where I want because of the radiation."
What's officially happening here is the radiation is causing the real world to merge with the cyber world.
Internet radiation. The servers are growing throughout the apartment complex. And this is the HQ for Gospel.
Like, literally growing.
When you get here, you also find your friends, and you think, you know, there's all this radiation going on. It's kind of a concern, but it's okay because Yai's father is either owns or has connections to a company that makes invisible radiation suits that they can wear, and it doesn't change their appearance, so the spiders didn't have to make a separate set for each of them.
Oh yeah, the music from here to the end of the game is really good.
Yes.
I believe the track is called "You Can't Go Back," which is
They have
only
names?
partially true.
It's awesome.
I think so. At least they might be unofficial, but there were like official soundtrack compilations created for each of the series. So
Somebody want to explain what's going on here in terms of the...
Oh yeah, sure, I'll get that. So basically, in this area, the radiation is causing the warp points to get knocked off. And so what he has to do is he has to go and grab the L bit for the room and use it to clear the radiation, which will reset the warp point to where it's supposed to go, allowing him to progress. If you miss one of the mystery datas that you want to collect in these areas, you can go back from the real world and jack into the corresponding server. But you can clear this entire area without having to do that. It's a bit of a maze, though, trying to keep track of where you are and where the warps remap.
Yep. Once you fix an area, it actually opens up a new floor that you can go to on the elevator. So if you miss anything, you can just go to the different floors and then explore the area more fully.
One really cool thing about this area that I don't recall seeing in another game is that the different pieces are actually spread out through the 4 comps. So you get a much more wide variety of viruses than you would in a normal in the normal final comps because you go like from comp 1 to comp 3 to comp 2 to comp 4.
So we actually leave the comps after L-bit 42 because it's just faster to start from the beginning from there.
And the goal is to get to the end, which will let them fix the elevator so that they can go all the way to the 30th floor, where Gospel's true leader lies.
So there's an L-bit coming up I'm gonna pick up. It's called L-bit EV. And it's easily... Oh geez, I forgot which way I was supposed to... Not this one. It's easily the most annoying one to get. Not because it's annoying, but because if you miss it, then you for sure have to take an elevator to a specific floor. I can't remember which one.
Floor 30?
No. Floor 30 is the end.
Oh.
It's like 26? I can't remember. No, floor 4. You have to go to floor 4. And you just have to get it from there. And the way that you can miss that is if you didn't do what I just did and you put the L-bit in immediately over here.
Yeah. If you do things out of order, you can put yourself in like awkward situations.
Yeah, and as Method said in the chat, the encounters here really can be nasty for casual players. Some of the encounters here are truly brutal. There's also a super rare encounter in Apartment Comp 3, I believe. It's a pain if you're trying to collect all the chips. But of course we won't see that because we're not doing random encounters in this room. Keizaron's just too cool for them.
So I'm probably going to save as soon as my next sneak run runs out because it ran out a little early and I don't want to risk getting an encounter.
So he's coming up on the first of the 2 boss rushes, and this is another very difficult manipulation because he's got to get his Gators off so that he can kill the bosses while also ensuring that he can continue the manipulation into the subsequent encounters. I think boss rush 1 tends to cause trouble.
Yeah, boss rush run... Ugh, God, I cannot talk right now. Boss rush 1. Good job, Steven. I messed up in the last marathon, and I also messed up in my PB. Probably one of the only places you can save time on my run as of now. Apparently there's a desync.
Is there anything we can do about that? Looked at? I don't know what we'd need to do.
We're on it.
Alright, cool.
So Airman's movement advances the RNG, so depending on what chips I draw, I let him move once or twice.
Apparently it's the radiation making our connection unstable. That explains it.
So the Buster and the hit was on purpose so we could advance the RNG a little bit, and also his movement also advances it. But this third fight is the one that tends to get messed up. Neat. If only my PB got this.
And you'll notice that Shadow Man does not feature in any of these boss rushes because in the story he's a mercenary Navi. So he's not actually working for Gospel full time.
Wow, good execution, me. Oh. You have to use the elevator switch, Lan.
So this comp, we need to open the door, and we need to go through this comp, which is very short.
I just saw it. Where are you?
And it's where we'll run across our the second half of the boss rush.
Not gonna lie, I almost forgot where to go.
We didn't used to have enough sneak runs for all of these comps, but added in that last sub-M, so now we can. And you can get some pretty nasty encounters, especially if you're Aqua style. You get like 2 satellites, and they can almost one-shot you.
So if you noticed, I checked my 7th chip. Just goes with the manip. So if I got Fan in slot 5, then I wouldn't need to Buster. But since I had it in slot 7, I have the Buster to advance the RNG.
Neat ways to fix parity.
And then at this point, we're now heading into the final room of the game, where we discover the true identity of the mastermind behind Gospel. Spoilers, it's another 11-year-old kid.
I mean, why
or
not?
10-year-old.
Alright, there is one more manip, and this is one of the hardest manips in the game, because I have to maintain it through a lot. And it also features the Walk of Doom.
Good luck.
Yeah, he can't save until he gets into the final room. Or sorry, he can't save once he's in the final room. So he needs to do the manip from the door.
Walk of Doom, boys.
If he does this right, though, the Gospel fight will be pretty exciting.
My character jerked around a little bit. That might have been a mess up already.
Yeah, Insulted Gator hits 9 times, so it's 9 times 130, which is like 11-something damage. There's a cutscene here where...
You know what? I'm actually going to redo it real quick. I wasn't comfortable with that. I'm pretty sure that it wasn't right, so... We'll just do it again to be safe.
So that cutscene in the middle is just the friends rallying to...
Oh my goodness, what the heck.
Serious time?
Yeah.
He kind of stuttered there. I don't have an explanation for that one. Okay, that should be right. Okay, we can talk again.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's not much to this final segment. I was just saying that the final cutscene there is when all the copies of the of Lan's friend Navi's come and they're deleted by the originals. Because there's got to be the friendship rah-rah-rah scene right at the end.
Like, he just stuttered again. I don't get why he's stuttering. Hopefully it's fine. It's kind of frustrating. Okay, so... Gotta move once. If attack plus 30 was in slot 5, he would have to move twice. If we see Wind Star in slot 3, then I did it right. So hopefully we got that. I think it's because I keep knocking my cable. Alright, we got Wind. Cool.
It's important because our folder is actually kind of soupy and not really that good. So if you don't have Gator, quickly the fight can be pretty rough.
This boss music is amazing, by the way.
Yeah, the whole fight's kind of epic. You got all the bug frags in the background. Gospel can be pretty trolly though.
So I take 2 hits there on purpose. It makes it so his next projectiles don't get in my way when I shoot him, because that would really suck to get junk blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And then it should be time. That's Battle Network 2. I did better last marathon.
Congratulations.
This was a lesson in preparation. Be more prepared.
I think that sums up this marathon in general.
This marathon, like, I'm still proud we were able to get it off, but this marathon was kind of hard to plan because everybody was so busy with various things at various times that I'm just happy that 1, we got it off, and 2, that other than us having to change the estimate for my run a little bit, everything's been on time. And even then, we were about a good hour-ish ahead of the original schedule, so...
Yeah, I think we had maybe a little too much setup, but nothing some BCC can't fix, right? This was an enjoyable run, Keizaron, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having me commentate.
Oh, absolutely.
This is Mega Man Gator Network 2.
Next time I'll do better.
Next time I'll do better.
Sub 2.
Next time I'll not have real life slap me in the face.
It's fine, man.
I really like these credits. 2's sort of my personal favorite, so there's a bit of nostalgia in there, but these are kind of nice. Like all the different scenes.
Yeah, 2 is really good.
Yeah, I definitely plan on looking into 4-star eventually, because I think when Terra did it, there wasn't any real like manipulation.
Yeah, I haven't actually run the game since RNG Manip got incorporated. When we first did RNG Manip, it was for BN1, and then Doisum said, hey, we can also do this in BN2, which I disagreed with because, like, since RNG advances on the title screen, you don't have the same level of control. And I guess I just didn't want to put forth the effort Keizaron did, and this is where it is now.
But yeah, to kind of put it into perspective, my PB/best time of this game is 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 17 seconds. And that was with not too much going wrong. It could have been a 2:11, but it would have been a really high 2:11. And then, like I had mentioned earlier, Monty was looking at spreader route, and I'm pretty sure that is faster, it's just harder. So it could probably be 2:10 or better. There's a good chance.
Yeah, the spreader route would completely change things. I'm still not totally sold on it, but if you can make it consistent. Oh, and after the credits you get this little teaser of the post-game area, the World 3 area. You can see Bass defeating one of his clones.
World 3 area has fantastic music.
Yes. That's half the reason I want to look into 4-star. Just to hear all the music.
For
Oh,
sure.
hey, see? No, I actually got a 218. Thanks, in-game time.
Sub 220.
I was underestimate. Yes!
Level
In-game
51.
time is a perfectly fair measure of a game that you're soft resetting all the time.
Well, that was fun. Thanks, everybody, for sticking around and watching. Definitely will do better next marathon, because there definitely will be a next one, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.